Hello, my beautiful friends. I'm Jeanette, your wellness coach, and today in this video, we're going to talk about how to make that big decision that you may be faced with right now. Should I have a lumpectomy or a mastectomy? So if you're somebody on that breast cancer journey, that is typically one of the very first big decisions that we have to make as far as our treatment. Do I take a piece of my breast or do I take the whole thing? And sometimes do I take both? That's also could be on the table. Now, my personal story started when I turned 40 and it was time for me to have a mammogram. And in that mammogram, they did find a small area that was a stage 0 that they said, yes, we're recommending a lumpectomy. And they decided to go ahead and do further testing. And when they did that further testing, they did find 2 more areas. One area that was a stage 1. So it was more of an aggressive kind of cancer. And the other area they were never able to test. It was too small, so we never knew what that was. So now I have 2 confirmed areas in one breast. And so they are telling me, as you can see, I'm not a very big person, so there was not much to take in the first place. But they were not recommending a lumpectomy any longer. It was a mastectomy. So the decision that I was faced with was, do I take one or do I take both? I ended up taking both. That was what I felt was best for me. I share that with you because one of the most important things to remember in making that decision is to make it based on logic, emotion, and intuition, not all emotion, because a lot of times when we're faced with that decision, our emotion is clouded and just bombarded with fear. We're so afraid of making the wrong choice, the wrong decision, and we're just so afraid of everything that's about to happen or that's in front of us. And so just make sure you take a step back and you bring that logic in there and you bring the intuition in there. And so today we're going to talk a lot about the logic, the emotion. We're going to go ahead and put that aside for just a second. Fear aside, worry aside, all the emotions, everything aside for right now, and let's go ahead and talk logic. So let's talk about a lumpectomy. So a lumpectomy is where they take a piece of your breast tissue. They take the tumor and then they take some more tissue around the tumor to essentially get all of the cancerous tissue. And so the pros on a lumpectomy is it's less invasive. They go in, it's a same-day surgery. You go in, they take that, and then you go home to recover. Your breast is mostly intact. Of course, there's going to be a little part that's been taken and that's missing. If you're somebody who is maybe a little larger, you won't even notice it much. If you're somebody who's smaller, you'll probably notice a little bit more. And so that is definitely a pro of having a lumpectomy. And you know, your breasts, like I said, they're virtually still intact. The cons of having a lumpectomy are the fact that you can pretty much count on having radiation because of the fact that they're just taking a part of it. They always want to make sure that they radiate that area just in case they missed something. The other part of that is they will, after your surgery, they'll go ahead and they'll check and make sure that they got everything. If they did not get everything, then you could be faced with another surgery, a lumpectomy again, to go in and take what they might have missed. Hopefully that's not the case. But like I said, you can pretty much count on having radiation, and radiation comes with its own side effects to consider. And the other part is there is a slight chance of reoccurrence. And when I say that, I just want you to kind of take that with a grain of salt because, again, there's always a chance of reoccurrence. But with a lumpectomy, you've got about a 3 to 15% chance of reoccurrence if you've had radiation and lumpectomy within 10 years. So, you know, I mean, there's, like I said, there's always a chance whichever way you go. And so those are the pros and cons of the lumpectomy. Now let's move to a mastectomy. A mastectomy, like I said, that is what I ended up having, bilateral. And a mastectomy is definitely more invasive. So nowadays, they're not having people stay overnight in the hospital. When I had mine, I did have to stay overnight in the hospital. And that was back in 2013, so it was many years ago. But now you do go home later that evening. As long as everything you're doing okay, then there's no reason for them to keep you in the hospital any longer. So the pros, let's start with the pros. I know I kind of threw in the fact that it's more invasive, but the pros of a mastectomy is you will most likely not have to have radiation. And I say most likely because if there was any lymph node involvement, if the margins were not clear, then you're gonna need radiation anyway. So the chance of reoccurrence is less having a mastectomy. You have a 6% chance of reoccurrence within 5 years after your mastectomy, as long as there were no lymph nodes involved. If there were lymph nodes involved and you did not do radiation, then it's about a 23% chance. However, if there are lymph nodes involved and you had radiation, you have a 6% chance within that 5 years. So it's a less of a chance of reoccurrence at the fact that you're taking all of the breast tissue. Now, obviously, if you only take one breast, that will change versus taking both breasts, because you're still going to have that other breast that you're going to have a mammogram and testing and further move forward with that. So the cons, like I said before, it is a lot more invasive. You could have some nerve damage, some pain, a lot of pain, numbness. You have a really high chance that your breast in the front will forever be numb. The nerves get damaged and there's no feeling. I don't have feeling in the front of mine, and that's just part of the cons. And also, when you have that mastectomy being an invasive procedure, you will go home with some drains. And so there's just a lot more involved, lot longer recovery time, and the psychological effects. It is very challenging to see yourself for the first time without breasts, whether you reconstruct or whether you go flat. And that is another part of the psychological healing process too, because reconstruction, you start to see form again, you start to see that it looks kind of like a breast again. If you go flat, it does not. And so it's just a matter of you feeling like this is what I can move forward in. Whichever way you decide, the most important thing, like I said, is that you feel confident moving forward with your decision. It's not an easy decision, and it's not one that we're going to be excited about, but it's one that it's important that you become confident with and comfortable with and make peace with. One other little tidbit is that when you do make that decision, be very mindful of who you share that decision with, because if somebody tries to talk you out of the decision you just made, it's going to plant all this doubt in your mind, and you've already gone through all of the challenge of getting to this point. So be very mindful who you share that with. And remember, you guys, you're not alone in this. Reach out for support. I have a private Facebook group that I offer support within that group for breast cancer warriors. And once a month, we have a virtual support group meeting. I also do one-on-one coaching to help. I've helped many breast cancer warriors to thrive in their life along the journey and even after. And so I will put a link below for the Facebook group and also for my calendar if you'd like to have a free wellness consultation call with me to see if coaching is something for you. But wherever you're at, remember, you are stronger than you believe, and you are not alone. So reach out, get support, and just show yourself love and compassion always. I hope this helped you guys, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and good luck with your decision. Whatever decision you make, you've made the best decision based on what you know moving forward. No regrets, no looking back. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Love and positive energy to you always. See you later. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my video. If you are someone who is on that breast cancer journey and would like some extra support, check out this video and check out this video, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.